Welcome to another episode of History Unplugged. So today, we'll explore about one of the most fascinating civilizations in the pre-Columbian world, which is the Inca Empire. Known for their engineering marvels, agricultural innovations, and their unique social system, the Incas left an extraordinary mark on our history. So, to join us in this incredible journey, I am now joined by these three experts, Dr. Rivera, a historian, Professor Mariela, an anthropologist, and last but not the least is Engineer Maglente, who specializes in ancient architecture. So welcome everyone! Thank you! Glad to be here! So Dr. Rivera, let's start with you. Could you give us an overview on how the Inca civilization began and what made it stand out from other empires?
Certainly, the Inca Empire was emerged in the 13th century in the Andean region of the South America, in the capital of Cusco Valley. What makes Incas remarkable is how they quickly expanded in less than 100 years. They built the largest empire in pre-Columbian America, across the day like Peru, Ecuador, Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. Their society was highly organized with the emperor called the Sapa Inca. They combined the military forces with diplomacy and incorporating diverse culture to their empire. Thank you.
So now let us have Professor Mariela. So Professor Mariela, how did the Inca culture and tradition shape everyday life for ordinary people?
Good question. Inca culture was deeply rooted in community and reciprocity. They had a system called Ailu, which like an extended family group that shared land, labors, and resources. Religion was also central. They worshiped the sun, God, Inti, and nature, played an important role in ritual. Daily life revolved around farming, weaving, and communal work. What's amazing is how they emphasize cooperation over the individual way, which helped them thrive in such a challenging mountain environment.
So now let us have Engineer Maglente. So the Incas were very famous for their engineering achievements. So as an engineer and specialized in ancient architecture, what do you think was their most impressive structures?
Hard to choose just one. Their stone structures is extraordinary. Think of Machu Picchu, built without iron tools, wheels, or even mortar. Yet the stone fit so perfectly that even earthquakes couldn't bring them down. They also built 25,000 miles of roads and bridges across some of the roughest terrain in the world. And yet, not forget the agricultural terraces. They transformed steep mountains into the fertile farmland, which fed millions of peoples. These innovations shows their genius in adapting technology to the environment.
So now let us have again Dr. Rivera. So I have a follow-up question for you. So what led to the decline of the Inca Empire?
Spanish conquest in 1530s was the decisive factor. The Incas were weakened by internal conflict. A civil war between two brothers fighting for their throne by diseases like smallpox that had arrived with the Europeans even before their direct contact. When Francisco Picasso and his men arrived, they exploited these weaknesses. Yet, despite the fall of the empire, Inca culture culture survived through traditional languages like Quechua and practices that continue the Andean communities today.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera, for sharing that legacy of the Inca Empire despite from their strategic fall. Now let us have again Professor Mariela. So I have a question for you. What lessons can modern society learn from the Incas?
One big lesson in sustainability. The Inca understood with their environment, their terrace farm irrigation system were designed for a long-term and survival, not short-term. They also show how community cooperation co-built resilience. They are value we call certainly used today.
Thank you, Professor Mariela, for explaining and how did the Inca culture and traditions really impacted the everyday life for ordinary people. So now let us have Engineer Maglente. So the Incas was very known and they're very famous.
Just say that every time we look at an Inca structure, we are reminded of the ingenuity and creativity of human beings. Even without modern tools, they achieve wonders that still inspire us today.
Engineer Maglente for sharing us one of the most impressive structures that the Inca Empire built. So we all know that Machu Picchu is now the new seven wonders of the world. So thank you for sharing that. Beautifully said. Thank you, Dr. Rivera, Professor Mariela, and Engineer Maglente for joining us today. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Remember that history isn't just about the past. It is about understanding the wisdom that shapes our future. Until next time, this is another episode of History